Welcome back to Mama's Talk Relationships. I am Lisa Miller.
And I'm Alessandra Martinet.
Whether you're freshly separated, a seasoned single parent, or well on your way to happily ever after 2.0, we're here to share our experiences, expert insights, and a whole lot of laughter to help you rock this next chapter. You ready for our next episode?
100%.
What are we going to talk about today?
I think today we need to talk about dating after divorce and where do you meet Mr. Wonderful? Because clearly, I'm not a fan of the dating apps, as I've said in all of our lives.
This is a juicy one. This is a good one. I get this question a lot, as I know you do too. And I think dating after divorce is a lot of trial and error. So you hate the dating apps. I don't mind them. I mean, let's be honest. Like when I first went through my breakup and had to get back out there and went on the dating apps, I was very resistant and it was very scary. And I was like, ugh, I don't want to do this because you're going to date a lot of frogs before you meet your Mr. Wonderful.
Yeah, but you know what? Here's the thing. I feel like, and I'm sure that our listeners can agree with us on this, that for every one Mr. Wonderful out there, there's like 500 fuckboys.
And I, of course, am going to reframe your beautiful mind. The more you, the more we lean into that story and believe it, the more you're going to prove yourself right. Period. The end.
I know, but it's not easy out there. And I know that that is so relatable to anyone listening that it's not easy. So I think what we want to do for our listeners is talk about what are other ways where you can meet someone. It doesn't have to be just on a dating app.
I agree. And I do think you should go on the dating apps, and I do think you should use it as a tool in your toolbox. I don't think it's the only tool out there, and I don't think it's the only way to meet people. There's, you can meet people out at a bar. That is definitely one way. And what I recommend to my clients, this is really truly something I make my clients do when they're newly ready to get back out there. Go either on a solo trip or go to a bar by yourself and sit at a bar, and I can almost guarantee you will at least have a conversation with someone. And that's just getting your feet wet. What's truly the key to successfully dating is confidence. And confidence comes by little, step by step successes. So you have to give yourself opportunities to build that confidence with you. It's just like, before I went and started my Instagram account, I was terrified. You would never
Mhm.
know that today. But if you
Oh,
look
I
at,
I still am.
right, but if you look at my very first reel, I'm like shaking doing it, right? And but now I do it in my sleep because I've just done so many of them. Not because I'm so amazing at it. I've just like it's like secondhand to me now. So that's where you want to get with dating. So my first
Are you saying
suggestion,
to just like get in the groove and just practice dating? Just go on a bunch of
yeah,
dates?
I did that like after my divorce and after my last breakup and after another one of like major breakups I had. That's exactly what I did. I just went out with someone who I never thought I'd actually really like, just to get my confidence up. Just so I'm like, oh, like I can do this. Like this is what I want to like be engaging in, and this is the conversations I like, and these are the questions I want to be asking, and just so you for yourself know what it feels like inside of your body. That will calm your nervous system.
I'm not saying to that I am totally opposed to dating apps. I haven't said that. I'm just at a point where it takes a lot of effort, and I'm not willing to put that effort in on the dating apps.
But I think
I've met
uh,
so many
dating
amazing
in
people
general
on them
takes a lot of
actually.
effort,
No, but I've met
right?
amazing people on the apps, you know? It didn't work out romantically, but one of them is a really good friend.
Yeah, and that's a beautiful thing. And that's the part about it. It's like take your expectations and lower them. And don't think you're going to meet Mr. Wonderful date number one, because the odds are that's not going to happen.
But look at how much we were so skeptical of Mr. Wonderful too.
Well, yeah,
And
that's a
and
whole nother podcast.
that's a whole other podcast, but I think what we've learned from that is you have to give people a chance and not project
100%.
your past or anything like that onto a new person.
And you have to be open to new people, and someone who could be totally different than what you're used to.
But I also think, back to our conversation the other day, I think it's like if you're into something, whether it's books, like you had mentioned, or hiking, or like me, the gym, is to start being more active in your interest because then you're going to find someone that has similar interests to you.
Yes, absolutely. So if you guys have a meetup group that you can find them online, and they have meetup groups for just about every hobby under the sun. And some are online and some are in person. What one of my clients, one of my guy clients recommended to me when I was like just getting back out there, he's like, go to one of those groups in person. If you like hiking, go to a hiking group. Because you might not meet somebody in that group, but that person has friends and their friends have friends. Like, think outside the box. And it's
Absolutely.
kind of,
Or you know
it's
what?
an,
You won't, like, through your kids, you won't believe it, but maybe through your kids' friends' parents. Like, you never know
yeah.
how you're going to meet the right person. I
So,
think the mindset shift should be not like it should be just you should be open to meeting someone,
yes,
right?
again, just be open to it and be open to the possibilities and take yourself off of this like expectation of it's taking too long, or every if you keep saying every guy out there is a dog, every guy out there is going to be a dog, because that's what our brains are insanely powerful, and
Mhm.
it wants to prove you right. So if you keep telling yourself I'm
Mhm.
never going to find someone, guess what? You're never going to find someone. If you keep telling yourself I live in a small town and there's no good guys here, you're going to prove yourself right. So you have to start to
You're
look at things.
manifesting it.
Yes, you have to start to look at things a little differently and be more open to what magic is out there. I mean, quick story of Mr. Wonderful. Like, he was at LAX on a layover for 4 hours. I mean, the odds
Wow.
of us, the odds of us meeting, slim to none. But because I was open to it and he was open to it, we matched and we met. Like,
I know.
that
And
would have,
see, look at you guys now.
right, but that would have never happened had I've been like, ugh, every guy out there sucks, or I'm never going to meet someone. If I was living in that place, energetically, we would have never matched.
Sure. And but I also think like if you want a certain type of guy in your life, you have to be that girl
Yes, you have to be her to,
to receive him.
yeah, you have to become her first. You go first.
Absolutely.
Yeah. If you want more love in your life, start loving yourself more first. If you want someone who's super adventurous, make sure you're super adventurous first. You have to be who you are calling in before that person's going to arrive.
Exactly. And you can't I think when you go on dates, you can't project your past experiences with dating or relationships into the next phase,
I mean, I
right?
honestly think like the first date should just be about, do I even want to go on a second date with them? That's all it should be. It
I
should be
know,
like
but
a,
we go from 0 to 60 and see if there's like freaking wedding bells in the future.
we're like, can we see with our kids? Like,
Like, do you think our kids are going to like him?
is he going to take me to Europe next year? How's that going to all play out? I'm just kidding. You
No,
know,
but that's what women do. That's what we do.
yeah, we get in our heads and we start being like, all right, like, is this really like a good match for me forever? And really, it's not about forever. It's like, can we just go to date number two? Because let's be honest, like, we're all nervous on the first date. I don't care how many first dates you've gone on. It's uncomfortable. It's awkward. No one knows the other person, how it's gonna go. Like, are they gonna kiss me? Are they not gonna kiss me? Are they a good kisser? Are they a bad kisser? Like, all the things go through your head, right?
Yeah.
So, like, just slow everything down. I really think like a first date should be like a half-hour coffee date and call it a day.
But I never have that. Like, all of my first dates are usually hours. Just sorry to say, like, that's just how I am. But I just think that when you go on these dates, don't, like, try to play the long game. Enjoy that moment.
Yeah. And don't try to get too much information, right? It's just, I really honestly think it's like, okay, did this date go well enough to go on a second date? Would I enjoy getting to know them a little bit more? Not forever. That doesn't mean I'm committing to this person forever. It doesn't mean you're not dating anyone else at that moment. Like, slow it down.
And here's another thing I would like to bring up. Stop looking for the butterflies and all of that shit because
Yeah,
that means trouble, okay? I think when you meet someone, it has to be something that's like a gradual thing,
it's a
not
slow
for
burn.
a slow burn. Because anytime you feel like I've felt those butterflies, it's always crashed and burned.
Yeah, well, there's no place for it to go but down. So it's
Yeah.
you're addicted to the high, and when it crashes and burns, you're like, oh no, and then you get the high again, and then it crashes and burns, and then you're it's a really unhealthy, toxic cycle to put yourself on, and it's usually because you're with someone who's unavailable, who you're chasing, and none of that feels good in the end of the day.
Well, that's and when I wouldn't feel those butterflies, I'm like, "Oh, this is a dud." No, it's actually good. It's actually good.
100%. And if you're just getting out of a toxic relationship, it's gonna feel really foreign to you. I mean, look at me with Mr. Wonderful. I tried to push him away a million times. I was like, oh
Yes, we both tried to push him
no.
away, and
We did. We tried really hard. We're like, like, he's too nice. I mean, he sends me flowers. Like, I go, who does that? Like, something's wrong with him.
it's creepy.
It's so creepy.
Yeah, so it's stay away from the butterflies. It's a bad
Yeah.
sign.
Yeah, and stay with someone who's willing to grow with you and be patient with you and wants to really get to know you and you really want to get to know them. Then that's where like real, true, safe, caring, yummy, delicious love is.
And where you can be yourself and you don't have to pretend. You have to
Ah,
be
so
authentic.
good.
You have to be you.
Yeah, and that's I think when you're just getting out of a marriage or a long-term relationship, we don't even know who we are. So it's about learning who you are. And I just had this conversation the other day with a client. You know, you can be healing and dating at the same time. I truly believe that.
Absolutely. I believe that.
Yeah. But you have to do the work as well. Don't think you can skip over that part because what will happen is you will end up just attracting a very similar guy like who you were just with just a different name. And that you would just be with that other guy if he was so wonderful. But something happened.
Absolutely.
You
I
know, it wasn't
completely agree with
aligned.
you on that.
It wasn't aligned for some reason. So just, just keep that in mind. And with that, like as you heal, your confidence grows, your self-worth grows, your self-love grows, and then you attract better and dating gets easier.
I
Less
hope
games.
so. I hate games. Don't play games.
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
have anything else to add, Miller?
I think that was like a really great episode. I love talking about dating after divorce. I think there's a lot of good topics here, and I think we did good today.
All right, mamas, we're at the end of another episode of Mamas Talk Relationships. As always, we want to thank you for joining us on this journey. If you're enjoying the podcast, please consider leaving us a review and subscribing wherever you listen to our podcast. We'll be back next week with another insightful, informative, and hopefully entertaining episode on navigating dating and relationships after divorce.